Yet it is so troubling to see our troops forced earlier today to sleep in that garage on the floor nonetheless. More than 24 of those troops who have been working so hard to keep the inauguration safe this week happen to be from Arizona. Our Whitney Clark joining the conversation tonight. And Whitney, I hear you had a chance to actually catch up with one of the troops and talk to her about her special role in the ceremony.
I did, Brandon. There are so many different things our troops do on the ground. We see them at work, but also behind the scenes. There's a lot that goes on to make the inauguration and events like that possible. Now, here in Arizona, there are about 30 National Guardsmen that are now reflecting on this historic week in Washington, D.C. If you're working, you have to sleep and eat. Among the most memorable images of 2021 thus far, troops sleeping and protecting the hallways of the U.S. Capitol building.
Their sleeping conditions are typically shoulder to shoulder in just a big area. I don't think everybody understands the kind of sacrifice, that our soldiers make.
Master Sergeant Jennifer Faustino is in Washington, D.C., far from her home in the Valley. She's a food manager with the Arizona National Guard.
It's really amazing. I've been in the National Guard since I was a senior in high school, so it's been over 20 years.
Following the deadly siege on January 6th, security ahead of Inauguration Day was massive. Roughly 25,000 National Guard troops ready to serve. For Faustino, it was her third ceremony.
The biggest difference was COVID. Typically, we stay on site where we're feeding, and that wasn't the case this time because they needed to ensure that everybody had the spacing.
Food is an incredible way to keep morale up, Faustino says. While feeding hundreds of troops, something small and a little extra love and effort can make a tremendous difference during a 24-hour demanding operation.
Making sure they have coffee in the morning, making sure that if we're providing them any type of soda that is cold, it's just the little things.
Like so many Americans, one Arizonan hoping the country comes back together.
I know I'm hoping I spend another 10 years in the Guard, and I'm hoping that I get to support the next, one or two presidents that come in. But no matter what, they all do something great for our country.
Well, some of the other big differences this year that she noticed, of course, that we all saw a lot more police on the ground and that there were more streets blocked off. We heard a lot about kind of the traffic issues in D.C. this week as well. And also, feeding the troops is something that she does. But this year they had catered meals because of COVID. Of course, that means that there are, less impact with people and making sure everything was clean. And also just to note, Brandon and Yetta, I did this interview with her just before that report came out about the Guardsmen in the garage you mentioned before my story.